we push so we get it? What do we need to do?
Oh, so again, so the president has invited all of us, to really be able to, keep on advocating and pushing. Unfortunately, there's something that multimedia you are doing. And that's what we all need to push to. A lot more evidence. We need to collect a lot more evidence on the people who are involved in this. And we also, you remember the fact when we started this particular fight, one of the things that Peter Amewu did which was positive, was getting the intelligence community to be able to bring out those who are involved in it. They have the capacity. FIC, for example, the Financial Intelligence Committee or Commission, they are another critical part of it. The illicit flows. You see, the challenge with now Galamsey is that it is now organized crime. It is not the people you see in the pit. It's the people who are funding it. It's the people who are smuggling the gold. Fortunately for us, one of the positive things that have happened is the gold board. So the gold board is now preventing the smuggling from happening. So it would make it easier for us to be able to track and trace where the illicit financial flows are going to, so that we deal with the root cause. But not only that, another thing that we also went in, and in that paper we submitted to His Excellency the President, is the role of the chiefs and traditional authorities. If you go to Mampong, for example, in your where Love FM operates on, because Mampong Hili, put his foot on the ground and said that Galamsey was not going to happen. Galamsey is not happening. You go into a community like Jema, they have a failed chief who is sick. Because he and his people, including Father Blay, with the support of his people, they decide that Galamsey, they've been fighting it, and that's not happening. There's a community in the eastern region, I've forgotten the name. They have a river called Isuboni. They don't have a male chief. They have a queen mother and the elders. They have been able to prevent it. They're not too far from Kwabeng. Isuboni and Kwabeng is clean. If you go to Kwabeng, they have messed all of it up. So what we need to start doing is to ask the National House of Chiefs to commend their chiefs who are doing well, but the rest of them, where Galamsey is happening, as Otumfuo did for that 3 people that he bestowed, every community that there's Galamsey happening, it is either the chief is so incompetent or the chief himself is part of it. So we should seize, and that's why for me the state of emergency is important. Confiscate all those lands that these chiefs are allowing Galamsey to happening or using to do Galamsey. Once you confiscate the land, then you investigate the chief. Find out whether you can see any financial flows between him and those people who are doing the Galamsey. And if there is, then you prosecute the chief. Not only that, it's one of the questions I asked yesterday on Facebook that caused all of this. Anywhere that we are seeing Galamsey happening, the DCs in those communities, the president has given them a KPI to fight Galamsey. So if Galamsey is still happening, then it means you have failed. And you and I know today, Kwesi Chuma has given you this work that you're doing. If they tell you that one of your KPIs is quality, audience share, but if they then tell you an integrity one, which is about Payola, and they find out immediately you'll be dismissed, you'll be interdicted and you'll be investigated. But in this political appointment, the president can immediately disappoint you, dismiss you, and then investigate you for complicity. Because it cannot be that from Takwa to Takrady, when you get to Simpa, on the side of the road, there are some water bodies close by there. That Galamsey happening, there are excavators in the pit. And the MCE for that place will tell us that he does not know about it. The police commanders, there are various police posts, not too far from where I saw them. There was a police barrier there. The police people there cannot tell us they don't know what it is that is happening there. And they should not be keeping their jobs. They also should be investigated. If they are complicit, they should be taken under Act 995. And so that's where we've got. Those are the things that we now need to do. Be able to support the president, be able to support the minister, by bringing evidence and pushing. And we'll be hoping that, the president would then be taking decisions. And that I know the Catholic Bishops' Conference also presented their paper to His Excellency the President. So in a month, we should go back to the president and ask the things that we said to you, the things you said to us, how far have we gone with that? And our focus in all of this, let nobody, be disillusioned. Since 2017, when the media coalition started it. None of you, Steve, you didn't do it because you were NDC then. And you are not doing it today because you're NPP. We're doing it because we have only one country called Ghana. And all we all can do is to support the ruling government to be able to solve the problems that confront us.
I know why you mentioned the NDC and the MPP in here, and I'll ask a question on it shortly. But you talked about the DCs and the MCs. You also mentioned, the police and the commanders in these areas where Galamsey is rife. Now, one of the things that the IGP mentioned he would do was to move them about. Commanders in areas where Galamsey is rife, he says, if we're not finding results, then we'll move you. Is that a better move in terms of moving them around? Is that the right move?
It is a good move, but you can't just do that. When there's galamsey happening, once you move the person, you should investigate the person to find out whether the people are complicit. But the question we need to ask, again, in all of this, one of the things that the Minister for Land assured us is transparency. We should be able to go back to the IGP for him to give us a list of all commanders that have been transferred and the KPIs that have been given to them, so that now we as citizens who sovereignty resides in them can see these people actually doing what it is that they are doing. And then ask the questions, what is happening to those who are complicit or who are incompetent and on their watch? Galamsey is right. How the police and the MCs or DC and the National Investigating Bureau in places like Ostino, how can they be telling us that why should they be keeping their jobs? You go to between Obuasi and Takwa and Yamfuri and all of those places. It is happening in plain sight. How can all of those people? So if we want anything to change, then we plead with His Excellency. He needs to start holding his people accountable. Those who have to act, who are not acting, he needs to start holding them accountable. And that is so important. That's the only way all of us can survive. Because now turbidity of water, where it is. Now we've all been told the EPA and their partners who did the work. If you go to places like Konongo Zongo and all of that, the levels of arsenic, cadmium, mercury that are in the soil. Dr. Nyaho Takumaklo has said that for Ghana, our Hiroshima is going to be Galamsey. We are going to deal with this chemicals for a very long time, and we all need to make sure that we bring this thing under control, move to responsible mining in such a way that we can still mine, but there would be that intergenerational equity, and we would make sure that we leave this world a better place for those who are coming after us.
So, Angaka, you mentioned, during the encounter, the CSO's encounter with the president, that you were not satisfied with the work done by the EPA, where they're telling us about the turbidity levels around the 98,000 and all that.